so I can kick my students' butts. Not in a nasty way. I just really want to be able to play. One of the mini goals of this channel is for you guys to help me practice in a way that makes me good enough at games that I know what I'm talking about, basically. I feel okay, I've had a bit of a rant building up. I'm not going to do a full rant about this now, but it really gets me down how few teachers in schools, generally, because I go to a few schools and I've been a teacher aide and a teacher for a combined, I was a teacher aide for about 8 years on and off around other jobs. And then I was a teacher full-time, and then now a substitute teacher, relief teacher, for a combined, what are we at? Coming up 10 years now. So what really gets me down from what I've seen is the missed opportunity of teachers using video games more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like more, not holistically. It's not that they're not using them holistically, like as in, they're not using them in a natural and intuitive way. They are just, they use them as a reward, and then they dust their hands clean and they go, right, that'll do me. The kids have played their games, that's all I need. I'll just do my own thing, I'll just do my planning or go on eBay or whatever the heck they do at the front of the classroom on their laptop. But what I'd love to see is a proper engagement in what the kids are interested in what the students are interested in. That's kind of like, that was the origin of this channel. That was the origin of this whole channel. Me exploring the idea of like, well, I was looking at the games they were playing and I was like, hey, that actually looks pretty fun. But also kind of going, there has to be a reason that this is so good. And then if I can access that, because look, adults forget that teenagers, like I know we talk a big game and a lot of teachers know this, but like, pardon. But treating teenagers like human beings sometimes, you would be surprised at some of the stuff I've seen and heard. Anyway, you just have to think back to yourself as a teenager. Some of the stuff that I said to teachers that was maybe a bit nasty, it was purely from well played, no spin. It was from a place of insecurity. Purely from a place of insecurity or boredom. You know, that's part of growing up, saying stupid shit to people. And I feel like there is a real, like, teachers try and use the out of saying things like, oh, you can't understand what kids are talking about these days, or you can't relate to kids these days. Like, they're just so, you know, they're online and they're brain rotted and they're all this kind of stuff. And I'm just thinking, there's a way to talk to them. You just don't want to learn how to talk to them. Partly because it's quite rude. You know, some of the stuff they say is just, it's quite inexcusably rude. And obviously teachers aren't going to want to emulate. There's a level of respect you have to maintain in that professional relationship between teacher and student. But this is a way around that. Knowing the games that they play. Like the amount of times that I've seen kids play Slither, and they're so into it. And all you would have to do to turn that kid's day around, for example, to make them have a better day, would be to, or make their day, or make their week, or use it as a learning opportunity to get them talking about, you know, to use it as a segue, or a rapport builder to, you know, get them on board for another class. This is the kind of stuff that teachers do. Rapport building. This would be huge for rapport building. Just being able to say something like, oh, like, you should have coiled then instead of, you know, or you should have gone up to the fence. Why didn't you just go into the fence, and then where you wouldn't have had to give him any of your poop candy. I might call it poop candy when I talk to them about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's as simple as that. That's a conversation starter that breaks the loop of them thinking that you're a completely irrelevant prick that doesn't want to have anything to do with them, really. They think that you're just there to collect a paycheck, or they have no respect for you because you're unrelatable. Like, dignity is a right. Dignity is a right. But respect really is earned. Like, it is, and it should be. And I've tried several times as a new teacher and as a teacher aide to ignore that and just to use school rules and policy to force respect. And what you get is either something that looks like respect but is just really nothing to do with respect, or you get pushback. Do you know what I mean? Hey, Vinny. And so what I'm saying is, I suppose, I wish adults and role models in children's lives and potential role models where you have potential to make a difference in their lives, I wish they took the chance more often to do stuff like this, just like stuff that they think is complete waste of time. Just grind a game that you know that a kid is into, or a student is into, or your child is into. Why not? Just grind a game. It's kind of the same as when I used to say, here's part of the reason I know this works. Because once, I remember I have this really clear memory. I used to read this author called Brian Jacques, and he writes the Redwall series, and really beautiful books, beautifully written, really good for kids, for literacy. It's like higher end literacy in a lot of ways for kids, because it seems like it's for kids, and it is. He wrote them for his sight impaired daughter. Oh, sorry about that, guys. That's completely wrong. It's not his daughter that he was reading to. He had 2 sons, it turns out, not a daughter. But I was halfway there. Look at that. Sorry about that. Which is why he uses imagery so beautifully. I love these books, right? I've loved them since I started reading them when I was 8, and I didn't stop reading them until I was probably in my late teens. And yeah, they played a big part of my life. And I feel like I was probably about maybe like 10 to 12, somewhere in that range. Awkward, pre-teenager. You know, I'd nearly had my final growth spurt. I've been the same height that I am now since I was 12. So, you know, like developmentally there was a lot going on. And I remember one day saying to my dad, like, I just finished this book. It was Mossflower. I even remember the book. And I'd go and see him at weekends. My parents, you know, weren't together at that point. And I said, you know, Dad, I've just finished this book. It's really good. It's so good. You should read this. And now my dad was like, he was a uni scholar. Like he was an academic kind of bloke. First person in our entire family, guaranteed, to have ever gone to a university was him. Switched on guy, right? And so it's not like he couldn't read. And this book, it's not like the smallest of children's books. It's not Spot. But it definitely is something that he, oh, you're back. That wasn't you. Oh, bro. No way. Oh, was that Rebaroot? That must have been Rebaroot. Because it was the name of the mod that he was using on Pizza Tower. Sorry, I get you guys confused sometimes. I'm so sorry. I said, Dad, you should read this. Like, I was like, I'll leave it here at your place, out at the farm. And so I went back into town for the week, and I came back the next week, and not only had he not read it, it was literally like exactly in the exact same place that I'd put it for him on this bedside table at his computer. And I remember just like walking in to say hi to him one afternoon, and I looked at it, and I was just like, oh, have you read the book? And I knew he hadn't. And he was like, oh, no, I haven't, but I've read things like it before. And I was like, yeah, oh, what have you read? And he was like, oh, just things like it. And I just remember being like, not even angry. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even sad. I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like it was like a door shutting off, a door closing. I was just like, okay, so he doesn't give a shit. And that's fine. You know what I mean? Like he's got, he had stuff going on. He's got his own life. But at the same time, he had a week to pick up a book and read any of it. You know what I mean? Like it's, and I just remember being like, okay, so he's not someone I can go to talk about this interest. And it wasn't like I even was, like I said, not angry, just accepting of the fact. And I feel like there's just such a lot of things that adults could do to just remind students, younger people, anyone who's in a mentorship, like a mentee role, like if you're the mentor for someone, or a role model, or a educational role with someone, there is just so much easy 10-second stuff you could do, to be more relatable. And therefore, if you become more relatable, then they will access what you are saying, and they'll want to access what you're saying, and what you're trying to offer them. And just, even if that's friendship, if they're having a bad day, they don't generally listen to people who haven't been nice to them before or they can't relate to. They just take it for granted that that person's probably just saying something nice. I've seen it, like teachers that aren't actually being nasty, but like they're quite brisk with their students. And then when their students are having a bad day, the students don't really accept the hand that's being stretched out to them, outstretched, and it's just kind of sad. Put in a couple of seconds of work per class, like per lesson. And stuff like this is it makes it so much easier to try and build a bridge, Because we're all kids inside. No one ever feels truly grown up, I don't believe. And if they do, it's usually not they usually feel either very proud in a moment, like on their wedding day, like I felt, proud of where they've ended up and who they're with and the situation they're in, or you can feel completely low or damaged or traumatized, and you can say, oh, this is what it feels like to be a grown-up. This is what it feels like to be an adult. I've got to just suck it up and move on with my life. And I feel like not enough people talk about the fact that, despite the fact that gaming culture, for example, which was seen as something very childish when I was a kid, which is now a mainstream adult, like multi-billion-dollar industry, it's just something that we still think of adulthood as something meaning like very disconnected to childhood. But adulthood is really, I feel like, just learning how to cope in a world where you still feel a lot of the time like you're not ready for it, And I feel like a lot more people could be honest about that. Anyway, rant over. Not asking for any input. You don't have to. I'm just saying it's interesting to me. More people should be using video games more effectively. Not effective in a business sense. Effectively, like, for connection. One day I'll tell you guys about Jane McGonigal. She's great. She's all about the game theory.